All right, how many marketers do we have in the house? Or rather, how many people have to do marketing in order for folks to find out about the game they're making? We might have a few more hands there. Regardless of whether or not you consider yourself a marketer, marketing is one of the hats that you may have to wear if you want people to find out about your work. I have always found marketing exceptionally intimidating, but I do understand that it's not just filling out some sort of random social media algorithm quota. It's about figuring out where your audience is, what they're looking for, how you can meaningfully connect with them, and let them know what you have to offer. At least that's what I understand now that I have watched the talk that you're about to watch. I had to kind of cheat so that I could look like I knew what I was talking about. But our next speaker certainly didn't have to do that. Her experience as art director and partner for Continue, amongst other things, has really prepared Julian Balbonton to answer the question, do I need a TikTok? Sure, she has a range of experience across design, social media, and outreach coordination, and she's here to give you a step by step plan to figure out how to get your marketing off the ground. Please welcome to the stage Julian Balbonton.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to Do We Get a TikTok? An introduction to marketing video games. So, you're about to make a game, you're currently making a game, or you have finished a game, whether it's something you need to fulfill in a grant or something you know you have to do. Marketing can be a big mystery because it can mean so many things. Is it ads? Is it outreach to influencers? Is it a meme? Can it be a meme? I called this talk, Do We Get a TikTok? Because this is one of the most common questions that I come across with game devs whenever it comes up in conversation. This is an introductory chit chat about marketing from a creative to another creative who are both very online. My goal in this talk is that you're slightly more confident when it comes to your creative needs when it comes to marketing. That way, you can define the bells and whistles you need to get those wish lists or reviews or to start crowdfunding or work up to a launch celebration. And as we go through these essentials, hopefully you do decide whether or not you get a TikTok. My name is Julian Valbonten. My pronouns are she, her, and I am an illustrator, designer, and digital creative based in Toronto, Canada. I am art director and partner at Continue, which I will go into more detail soon after. I'm a graphic designer at Dames for Games, where they just had their exciting summer showcase. And I am a board member at Hand Eye Society, a non-for-profit that focuses on showcasing and creating resources for the talented community in Toronto. I've worn a lot of hats that are still creative, but are still somewhat in different realms, especially with social media and outreach coordination. And since I don't like everything to be about work, I have my pet's first aid. I like to weightlift. I don't litter, and I'm generally a good friend. Continue is a creative content and marketing collective in Toronto. A lot of our clients are in arts, entertainment, film, and video games. Alongside with the principal creative director, my business partner, and my friend, Will Perkins, we've been working together for like 8 years. But we're a small core team supported by a team of designers, writers, illustrators. From A to Z, we do a lot of different things. Now, where does marketing start? Where do we actually begin? It actually starts before you make a game. Before you start writing a design doc or developing the look of the game or prototyping, before you even write a single line of code, ask yourself a series of questions. What are 1 to 3 things that make my game different? What are your hooks? Let's go through some examples. Is your hook a unique game mechanic? Are they similar to games that already exist but with a twist? Is it like Balatro, where you have a conventional poker hand, but decks of other cards that change your run for the better or for the worse? Is your hook a memorable little guy, like the prince from Katamari, or a character as fabulous as Bayonetta? Would they inspire people to make their own fan art? Is your hook a unique art style that is unique to that genre? Is the game hyper-saturated, or is there a sense of nostalgia in the UI or the form of its characters? Now that you have thought about your hook, who would these hook appeal to? So, who is my game for? A good reference is the people around you, like your friends. What are the first few things that you would tell them about your game? Hold on to this thought for later. Now, let's think about the specific things you need to communicate all of those thoughts. If you were to hire someone internally, hire a marketing team, or try to take a crack on it on your own, this is where we would start. So, a lot, if not most, of the developers we speak to are 1, 2, or even 3 years into building a game and have gotten to a point where they need marketing support for a certain milestone or for the release. Sometimes we have devs that have a hard time answering the questions that we just thought about, and that's totally okay. A lot of games start from solo passion projects or game jams, and you just haven't thought about it too much. And that's okay because we'll figure it out together. So this is where we start with the pieces of key information. We always start by performing marketing research and developing a marketing strategy and roadmap. And here are the pieces: research, identifying key communities, listing out key marketing assets, mapping out different marketing beats and dates, defining brand voice and tone, and establishing content and post styles. Let's start researching, gamers. There are a lot of fantastic and free online sources like SteamDB to Gamealytic and more that can tell you about specific games and genres as estimates on sales, concurrent players, review scores, and more. Choose 2 to 3 similar games in a similar genre or subgenre, and do a deep dive on them. How many players do they have? What do the reviews say about them? Do people love streaming the game? Are there a lot of similar games that are releasing when you plan to? While doing this deep dive, connect how the information from these games can mold your own game and your own approach. So let's go back to who is this game for question for a second. Let's think about your ideal player and think about them a little deeper too. Who are they? What do they play? What do they do? What social media platforms do they use? And what else do they do for fun? Answer these questions and you can create a profile for the ideal player. A simple example would be an individual in their 20s to 30s who like playing cozy games and does a lot of reading in their free time. Flesh that kind of idea out. What channels do you and your game need to be in front of this ideal player? Are there specific Discord channels and or online communities that they would be in? Are they watching the Wholesome Direct? For our simple example, I would say yes. When they're checking out your game, are they checking it out on YouTube, Twitter, on a Steam page? Where do you need to be to give that information? Is it TikTok? Now, to be in those spaces with your ideal audience, let's think of the key creative marketing assets that we'd need to give those players information. It can take form in written or creative content, such as these examples: a gameplay description, what genre it is, what are the game mechanics, and what are similar games, a logline and synopsis. So, what is the game story about? What is the setting or backdrop, and who are the characters? A logo and key art. Digital storefronts will always need this, and a strong logo and key art will help set your game apart. And trailers. These come in many forms. So you can have a teaser trailer, release date trailer, gameplay trailers, story trailers, and more. Trailers are one of the most key ways of communicating to people what your game is. So here are a few examples of release day trailers that we've supported with. And even at a quick glance at all of them, you can tell they have different audiences. And there may be overlap, of course, but they have different appeals. So on the top, we have Ravenlock with a fantastical action adventure hack and slash, D Powerball, a 2D party platformer, and then at the bottom, we have Broken Spectre, a VR hand tracking horror game. So they have different looks to them. Now that you have the what, let's take a look at when. If you have the privilege of mapping out important marketing dates and when you'd like to start thinking about creative in an indie perspective, Dana Trabella and Derek Liu actually have a wonderful talk at GDC that you could look up about the expectations that you could set up for a timeline. And that timeline may be longer than you'd think if you want to knock it out of the park. So, when do you release your game? It doesn't have to be a specific date or month or quarter, but figure out the approximate ballpark of when you'd like to release your game and work backwards from there. During this process, you can figure out what deadlines look like and how the marketing will work in harmony with production. When they work hand in hand, it can create beautiful results. For example, if you have a release date trailer and it's in a showcase, wouldn't it be lovely if there was a demo for people to play? Whether you're a solo dev or have a small team, be especially mindful about capacity. Life can happen. The beauty of having a rough idea of a schedule ahead of time is that, yes, it's a goal that we can all work towards, but it isn't law and can be flexible at the same time. You might find yourself ahead of schedule from certain parts of the project and behind on others, and you can adjust from there. As you set these markers out, and if you find that on that day you think everything's important and everything's happening, don't forget to ask yourself why. Why do you need to have a trailer by October? Or why do you need to be in a certain showcase? Just so you can prioritize some of these beats and dates as well. Now, before getting to the actual content, let's define voice and tone. Define the ways in which you want to communicate with prospective players, what attitude you want to have, what values about you and your game studio are conveying, and how that information is communicated. Is your brand voice serious? Is it funny? Is it empathetic or relatable? Is it consistent with the tone or setting of your game? If your game is set in 18th century, are you starting a post with a hear ye? These are a few things to consider. The simplest way to create a list of one-worded descriptors of what you and your game studio are and are not. We are kind. We are not ignorant. Those type of things. Defining these traits will help you craft content that resonates and adds value to both your prospective players and existing community. Creation time. Content and post types. This is the pillar of how we form social posts. A lot of social media is reactive. Memes and different templates can change by the hour, but if you have a set of posts created and written in advance, it gives you a lot more time to post on the fly stuff. A content calendar is a literal calendar that can help you map out posts that are tied to a larger goal. For example, if your main goal is to build your wish list, define a post type called wish lists, and whatever that may be, a GIF, video, or post, make sure that it has some sort of call to action, like do this, go here, click here, and includes a link where someone can wish list the game. Other forms of examples are things like engagement, so you can ask the community for input, or asking them a question can be a post type, or an informational post type where you tell people about a certain game mechanic or character in the game. All of these posts that you're thinking of can make people more and more familiar with you and your game. So let's go through some examples. I can't have a talk called Do We Have a TikTok and not look at TikToks. So when you want it done a certain way, it can be a lot of work. Keep in mind taking footage, writing scripts, and finding the right music. It's all mini production, but all snowballs together. In this example of post type, this is a series of an event type, like hype type of posts. D-Powerball was having a booth at Fan Expo where it happened to be their launch party as well. There were events happening at the booth throughout the day, so we made sure to cover what was going on before the event and then covered what was happening during. Another type of content example that I use in TikTok is that's true to the platform, which is like a search engine. So make sure that the game is there, covering the bases of Fairy Tale action game, games for Xbox Game Pass, and etc. In this one, we had to film a lot of gameplay footage to really capture the essence of the game and its action. And it was funny to sometimes play poorly, but beautifully for the right shot. A recent non-TikTok example that I saw was that the team behind Tiny Terry's Turbo Trip made rewards for different milestones of Steam reviews and involved their Discord community. When they reached 150 Steam reviews, they gave their Discord community the opportunity to design a new bird or insect that would go in game. And I think that's pretty cool. Their other goals included having merch and a Switch port for the game, so you could imagine the kind of planning that happened ahead of time to consider these goals. Crowdfunding. One of my final notes is that if you're going down the crowdfunding route, the marketing and brand bricks that you've already laid out with this talk today will make you more prepared to do so. Although this may be further down the line, but building a community is essential and a large part of crowdfunding. And I'll talk about this very briefly because this is where marketing and publishing meet. In order to successfully crowdfund a game, you'll want to do everything we talked about previously and a little bit more. Crowdfunding is its own large project, and those those things are three main things. One, feasibility. Does your project have legs? Is there an audience for it? Two, price point. Is a backer getting value for their contribution? Think about the different rewards and think how you could bounce your books about it. Three, timing. When are you running your campaign and for how long? Lastly, choosing the right crowdfunding platform and secondary channels to leverage on are hugely important and something to consider. But these are the types of things you can work towards with this content. Last but finally not least, remember to have fun. While social media can be pretty dark, it's where you can connect with communities and have a little hee hee ha ha now and then. If anyone has any questions, here's where you can find me. You can email me at julian@continueagency.com and find me on Instagram and Twitter at Balbontino. That's a zero because I'm the zeroth Balbontin. I've included information on Continue down below too if you want to keep up with what we're doing. And let me know if you do end up getting a TikTok or if you don't. Big thank you to Game Devs of Color for having me and organizing all of this. Make sure you check out the other amazing work from the other talented and cool panelists. Have a nice rest of your day and stay kind, and thank you for your time.
That was a fantastic talk, Julian. Thank you. I gotta admit, I still sometimes wish that marketing was just insert thing in spreadsheet, get out influence. But marketing is about connecting to people who have wants and needs and worries and things to do, and also may have a genuine interest in the thing that you are doing. You marketing and sharing your work could be giving them inspiration like you've received inspiration from games that you played. That seems worth sharing, doesn't it? Please remind me that I said that. I won't believe it later for myself. But thank you so much for that step-by-step system, Julian. It's really clear to understand, and I hope it will allow some folks to reach their audiences. If you would like to keep up with Julian, you can find her on social media at Balbontin0 on Instagram or Twitter. You can also email her at julian@continueagency.com. You can also find out more about Continue Agency at We Are Continue on social media. Thanks so much for that talk.